Manny Pacquiao will become world champion in 2025. And I'm not talking from a fanboy perspective. I'm going to explain to you exactly how this is going to happen and what it will look like. And at the exact same time, I'm going to really explain the difference in pedigrees in this era compared to what the up and coming fighters today will be facing. So, hopefully, right now, you got a pen and pad because we're going to go through several segments on what this will look like. But I'm going to give you a little bit of what qualifies me to really give you this information. So, here we go. I want you guys to strap on. We're about to go for a ride. This is one of my guys.
Breaking news out of the boxing world, where Manny Pacquiao will be ending his 4-year retirement to square off against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight.
Working out with the best of the best is not easy. I caught up with the chief sparring partner of Manny Pacquiao. You were one of Manny's sparring partners. What's that like to work with someone that great?
I mean, not only was I one of the sparring partners, I was the chief sparring partner. I went more rounds with Manny than anybody, but I've been in there with the likes of 6 different world champions. So I've been known to spar a lot of different world champions. And I mean, I'm not a sparring partner, but I've been able to test myself and see if I belong at that level.
Are you able to hold your own with them? Are you able to give them a good punch?
I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, me and everybody else in this gym can tell you, I've been able to hold my own and I've been able to get the best of quite a few of them.
All right. So 6.5 years as Manny Pacquiao's chief sparring partner. That's my fighter, Rashad Holloway. And for those of you in the boxing world, you know who he is. Plagued by injury at the end as he was going into his opportunities for titles. He was clipped by Antonio Margarito with plaster apparel. Everybody knows Antonio. Unfortunately, he never got to reign out his championship reign because this kid's skill, as you go back and rewind and play that video, you'll just watch and see something that you don't even see from fighters today. And that's a refined prowess, skills, technique. He's a ring technician, and that today is missing. And he was brought under the tutelage of my coach, Coach Anthony Bradley, a multitude of guys who coached out in Cincinnati, Adrian Broner's coach, all of those guys, Coach Stafford, and just a bevy, Freddie Roach, people who were refound and known for grooming athletes. So when you watch them, you knew immediately that you were seeing something different. Now, what happened as the time went on is I told him something's great's going to come out of you not being able to fight. And lo and behold, in that same week, Sean Porter needed him in camp. Sean Porter went on to win his first title against, Devin Alexander, dominated him, mauled him, and gave all the credit to the system and the processes that Rashad implemented into camp that came from where we built our mindsets to understand the only thing that matters in boxing is a system. You can take the average fighter and turn them into a reigning champion. And that's why I always tell any of you guys, if you're going to do this, you got to make sure that you're not just grabbing bits and pieces from everywhere, because you're going to pay the price. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get directly into something really good. So we're going to give you processes, and we're going to speak to people like DAZN speaker and announcer and sports personality Claudia Trejos. We're going to have Jim Lampley. We're going to have conversations with people who've actually had an opportunity to weigh in about Manny Pacquiao coming back. And so with no further ado, we'll start getting into it. And then we're going to break down why will Manny have the ability to win a title again. And you're going to really have time to appreciate if you're taking notes. And we're going to have a Q&A. We have several people that wanted to ask questions. So we're going to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to do that. So here we go with what is important in the sport of boxing, though. What is really important? The thing that's the most important is it is all about first having something that people actually want to see. And if you have that ability to get people interested in what you are doing, then it's going to be second nature for someone who's actually been at the gym and the trainer who's had the opportunity to train them and the guy who runs the gym to really benefit from that wave of just influx of excitement inside of a gym. Those of you who run a gym, which a whole lot of you guys, at least 18 to 22% of the people that follow us are in the gym world, whether they're master trainers or they are owners. There's nothing like having the influx of people who really bring something to your gym. I remember we had a stable of top athletes, 6 gold medalists at one time, only 2 different sports, but 6 gold medalists, and then just a bevy of just other great athletes and entertainers. There's nothing like that. Now, what I want you guys to challenge yourself with is to make sure that you understand how to monetize your packages for people who are bringing something different, right? There's a method that you do it and you benefit and everybody wins. So when you have someone that comes into your place like a Manny Pacquiao and Ryan Garcia, and even as of late, I gotta give it up to Rolly Romero. The guy's really good for boxing. Everybody likes him. He really brings the smoke. He talks trash when he needs to, but he waits till it's over. And then he talks the most trash, whereas before he used to talk trash before. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to listen to what's important. What's truly important in boxing?
He can call anybody out. But before he actually brings up the big guns like Manny Pacquiao, and we're not talking about boxing skill. We're going to talk about accolades. We're going to talk about legacy. Manny Pacquiao, obviously, he's way past his prime. But let me tell you, even way past his prime, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
So that was a segment that we did. And, you know, I love getting the feedback from Claudia because she's such a real boxing aficionado. Man, when you talk about a person that is committed, and if you are coming into the sport and I say, Claudia, take a look at him, what is he short? Now you're talking about someone who eats dinner with Manuel Marquez and Chavez Sr. and Canelo and Anthony Joshua. You're not talking about some chick. You're talking about somebody who's about that life, lives that life, walks around Monday through Sunday in the bucket, in the trenches of it, talking with the best, operating with the best, working with the best, conversating on a constant basis. So I love having her on as a co-host and just picking a brain and showing you the depth and how rich boxing is. And when you don't know how rich it is until you hear somebody who actually knows how to talk about it. And I heard some of you guys talk about it. You don't quite understand boxing, but it's fine. That's why we are here. So the next thing that we have to do is learn something that I like to teach to people who are in our school, because some of the coaches that are there are very committed to skills and techniques. But for all of the people, the one person that I'm talking to, this thing is more than that. You can really get engulfed with learning and loving, learning and teaching it because you had to go and learn it. But lo and behold, it's other things going on. So what about the way you're going to display your essential talent? How are you going to show that footwork off? Who are you going to show them dazzling Sugar Ray Leonard-like combinations? The ones that you run off like Ray Robinson. Boom, 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 and then boom, 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 boom. The shrug. Throwing those kamikazes. Who are you going to show it to? That's where it's important to understand how to promote. And here's my man, Jim Lampley, speaking to Floyd about how he did it.
Social media. That he was the person who painted the picture to me what social media could do.
And he created maybe a blueprint that we're seeing Canelo follow to a degree, where it's, I'm going to be a businessman first. I'm not going to do anything. If I have the power, I'm going to use it effectively.
Who was one of the two people who beat Canelo.
Exactly. Learned.
Say to people is, no Mayweather, no Trump. Trump is a boxing fan. He saw what Floyd did. He realized they don't have to love you. They just have to care about you. And he got that. And mined it to tremendous effect.
And that's the facts. Floyd laid down the blueprint. Jake Paul took it. Ryan Garcia took it. We have guys who didn't take it, and they are paying the price. I have guys, they're trying. And so this is where I'm really focusing on grooming our guys for social. Like you are on a slow bus. I'll say that because the other word that I was going to use was not nice and pleasant. I don't want to eat that later. You can't really think that you can avoid something that's growing by the millisecond. By the age of 13, there will be 77 trillion data points tapped into you by the age of 13. That means everything you think will be translated through your phone. There's no way you're going to ever escape it. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to learn how to use the computer. That's who you are. I don't want to learn. I just want to stick into real life. I want to talk to real people. Well, you want to be broke too. You want to struggle financially. You want to stay in the same situation, because I prep our coaches. And when you see me on lives talking to our coaches, what you are going to see me do is to get them familiar with what it takes and how it's putting their guys in the highest light. I started out with my guys straight in social media. They were bigger than anybody, and they had never even fought yet, because that's the power of notoriety. You see, success doesn't reward talent. Success rewards visibility. So whoever's the most visible, it doesn't matter how you got there, that's who it rewards. Therefore, find someone who actually speaks your language, and then make sure that you can get those pearls from them, because I say it once, I say it twice, I will say it 3 times. Success leaves clues. So get your magnifying glass and level up your social media game. Special shouts out to my boy Nyquil, who's doing it at the next level. 12 years old, out of South Florida, rocking it, crushing it all over the globe. He's with all of the stars. You see him on a regular basis training with Teofimo Lopez here in South Florida. He's just basically laying the blueprint for the young kids who don't feel like it pertains to them. But we want to see your fights. I bet you got a kid that got some talent. I bet you I ain't seen him either. But I seen Nyquil. They call him Nyquil because he be putting you to sleep. And so there's always already a moniker placed with him. Already the personality, the persona. Guess who's getting brand deals already at 12 years old? Started even before that. Already over 200,000 people follow, got a big YouTube following. It's not like you got to be that. But what you do have to do is make sure we can see your footwork. Make sure we can see your dazzling combinations. Make sure that when you get that knockout or that TKO, that we are on board. That's what we want to do. We don't just want to sit back and, oh, well, I heard about this kid. Well, that kid ain't being seen. Don't do that to your guy. Learn to open up your gym and learn to listen to what I said at the beginning. I spoke to you at the beginning. I said, my fighter, who's Rashad, understands the value of visibility, notoriety, showcasing your stuff. You didn't just get to that position to not showcase it. Now, what we're going to do is take a question from one of our guys who actually had been waiting. So, Christopher, Saunders said, what is the most efficient way to lift weights to prevent bulk? Great question. I'm going to chop this up. Okay. A lot of you have heard, and I got 3 minutes to do this. Okay, I'm giving myself time to do the rounds, everything round by round. Listen to this. When you're going to lift weights, you can lift as much weight as you want. Let me explain to you the levels. All right, there's methods of lifting weights that you can embark in on. Okay, if you want to get oxygenated and look really good with your muscles, you want them to flex, here's what you think about. If you want to go heavy on your weight training, you don't have to do it as often because the muscles need time to absorb the protein, go through its muscular protein synthesis process where it can really sustain all of the nutrients and produce that testosterone so the muscle develops fully. And when you are starting to put on the muscle, let me explain this to you. Why is it that I have to know this? Because my coach would never allow weight training. And I myself was a weight training aficionado. That means I did it in a scientific manner. I am Isaac Newton of the human body. Knowing the human body is so miraculous. I speak to experts on my feed on a regular basis because all of the studying that I've done, when you couple that with people like the Gary Breckers of the world, people who've done it on an entirely different level, they have a totally different approach, you get to really radiate what you know, and you need to do that for them as well. What is it that I do? I like to understand how the muscle likes to be fed the weight. And then if I can't do it after putting on that mass, then I won't suggest it. And let me tell you, I've done over 100,000 hours of study, writing, literature, having tests done in universities, having athletes professionally, Olympics, and all of the above use my systems. And those of you who know me know that I'm a stickler for having my stuff tested out, taking it through the principles of beta testing, taking it through the actual data and metric collection. And when I get the data, then I can suggest it. Just like with the 10-minute workout, I discovered it in the midst of building another type of workout, a longer, drawn out, low intensity type workout. But during the tutorial development process for that system, I learned that I was getting more shredded in a short amount of time in a compound weight system, weightlifting method. And I created the 10-minute 12 peaks training program. That was the first short program that I'd created, that it got out to the universe. So, Christopher, the way that you train is understanding the splits, and you have to test your own body because my body is filled with fast twitch muscle. So when I train, I get cut up and really sore for a long period of time. That was the end of my round. But what I would tell you to do, control centric training and make sure that you learn how to do time under tension, TUT training, things that won't bulk you up. It will oxygenate your body and you won't need to do as much of it. And then you can get the loose active muscle, because the conversation that we're going to go through next is setting up for what we call tempo training. So for those of you who are not following me right now, you might want to get on board, because tempo training is the perfect couple to the control eccentric training and the TUT training, time under tension. It's going to be beautiful. And we not only talk about really what to do there, but in the kitchen as well. So I'm kind of that guy. I'm a stickler for all of that. So one without the other is nil. So hopefully that answered your question. We'll get the other two questions as the show goes on. But next, what we're going to do is talk about the systems versus good skill. I'm going to explain to you systems versus skills. So I'll put the definition. Systems is designed to break down any problem you face. That's where, whether you work for IBM, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, systems are put in place to do things that have proven to solve problems. And you go through those processes and do them every single day the exact same way. The word is way. Okay? That's a system. It's refined, it's proven, it's been tested. It's gone through the ringer. Our program that we teach the boxing, it went through George Benton, Archie Moore, Tony Zale, literally, Coach Kenny Adams, Coach Bradley, and then to my black butt, and to from me to you guys. And therefore, with all of that knowledge, the proven methods literally have already triumphed in over 300 titles in amateur boxing for brand new coaches who did not truly understand what a boxing system was. So they're using a system. So the best thing about this system, and I'm not going to be long because I got 72 seconds on this round 6, that is. The most beautiful thing about this is because I used to help little kids when I was growing up who were being bullied. I taught them how to fight. Lo and behold, that's what I did as an adult now too. So now what I do is I put the system in place so a kid who's at your gym, he does not have all the talent. He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. He don't hit the hardest. And he's not the slickest. But when you put him in a system, it's plug and play. You want championship results, put him in a championship system, and he'll win a championship. And that's what's happened. The kids that have won in our programs, for the coaches who are out there, I got guys in the UK, I got guys in Aussie, I got guys in Hong Kong, I got guys in South Florida, I got guys in New York, I got guys in Cali. We got people all over the world doing master boxing, and they're winning. All of them. Ask them. And that's what's so beautiful, because the little Oliver Humperdinck kid can also win in the gloves as well. So there's that. This is my break. We go right into the systems that you plug it into. So here's Claudia on systems.
But what's going to bring eyeballs? He said, I break down fighters, not necessarily blow by blow, but mentally. I have to break down a fighter first mentally, then physically, then in my boxing skill.
Yeah.
Because that's a systematic breakdown.
Woo! That is a systematic breakdown. And that, my friend, is what we are talking about consistently, is understanding footwork, understanding defense, understanding postures, understanding level 3 styles of boxing. And then as we roll it around, because there are 4 stages to boxing: basics, advanced, styles of boxing. And this level 4 is when you make it your own and get your craft in boxing. You now know your style. That's what's so powerful about a system. It's like you put on your shoes and then you put on your gloves and you start becoming Archie the old mongoose Moore, because you know what he knows. You fight like he fights. You overcome things like you overcome things, because the system is being able to solve any problem at any time. And that's what we designed it for. So that's what's so beautiful. And guess what? When my boxer was training with Manny, he's done more rounds with Manny than anybody in the world. So it qualifies me to understand what he went through, what were the pros, what were the cons, and being in the ring with Manny every day, not once a month, not 2 camps, every camp for 6.5 years. That's a whole lot of getting punched by Manny Pacquiao. That's a whole lot of stories. And for those of you who did not hear the actual, I'm going to let you hear the war story so that it's clear. And then what I'm going to do is give you one more simple breakdown so that you guys really see what that's like. I just really appreciate the conversation that was had, because it really gave
the best of the best.
a real enlightening approach.
We've got breaking news out of
Hold
the
on one
boxing
second.
world.
It's coming up.
What do you think, Pressure? What's the biggest punch he landed?
Here we go. So check this out. This is Ellie Sekback. Let me take one out. Oh, it won't let me put that other one in there. But anyway, so what we're going to do is let you see when you are in there so much with somebody who's really, really great. He used to have to get in there with every world champion. He's been in there with Shane Mosley. He's been in there with Tonio Margarita, Manfredo, just everybody. Helped guys like, just he got into management, but then ended up being the coach for Tony Ferguson in his run in the UFC, where he was the most dominant fighter other than Habib. And so everything gets to a place where you can use and display what you got. And think about this: whenever you are in a place where you can see a system, everybody kept wondering, why is it that this kid keeps winning? And we're talking about Pacquiao. We're talking about, see, because Pacquiao was in Eddie Futch's system, not Freddie Roach's. Eddie Futch gave Freddie Roach the system because Freddie Roach couldn't fight. You know, he wasn't really a good fighter. He was a gaming fighter, but he wasn't good. But he was able to be a better coach than he was an actual fighter, right? Because they always talk about how great the peekaboo style is. Why are only 2 men won in it, 3 men in 50 years? Because it's not that great of a style, because it's a posture. It's not a system of fighting. There are too many other variables. And peekaboo is a scenario kind of thing. If your fighter isn't aggressive, then you take him and put him in a peekaboo, and he learns how to press forward. So he gets enough drills and develop enough skills and gets enough muscle memory to start fighting aggressively. Does that make sense? That's all. That's it. So, but when you have a guy who put him in a system, and I had a lot of questions coming through at the same time, and I'm gonna answer those. He has options. He knows how to fight forward. He knows how to fight off his back foot. He knows how to change angles and create and utilize the ring, and he's a ring general. And that's where you get guys like Bernard Hopkins, people who understand how to use the ring. This is how this guy kept winning, and this is what it looks like when you fight in a system. You generational wealth. So all of you out here, I want you to think about it. Am I grabbing bits all over the place, or am I in a system? Because if you're not in a system, you're going to find out what it's like to go up against somebody in a system if you just have talent. Talent ain't enough to beat a system. The Art of Fighting, round 1. Boom. The Art of Fighting. That is what it looks like when you're in a system. No matter how old you are, it will not let you down. No matter how good the other person is, it will never let you down. Question from my man, Clarence Pettis, and I'll take the next 90 seconds and answer this question. Is it best for an MMA fighter to learn boxing first? Oh, you're going to love this answer because I was mentor of Dustin Poirier's coach, and I groom an MMA fighter to become a champion at the amateur level. And I've been in a circle of American top team fighters who said, I wish I would have learned boxing first. We're partners with guys like Conan Silveira and Rafael Garcia. I'm in the MMA world in a major kind of way, and I'm a major player in the game. And I live in South Florida, so you can't escape it here. It's on every block. But these are the most profound universities of MMA fighting that there is in the world. You got to go to Brazil. You got to go to Thailand to get anything remotely close. And so when I say that with all due respect of all the other people who put it in, because nobody doesn't put the work in. It's just when you get to this place, you got the Henry Hoofs of the world, and you got the Conan Silveiras of the world, and it's just one legend after the next on every city block, then, there's that. Everybody has said I would have learned to love boxing first. Usman lives right here in Boynton. All of this is together. For those of you who don't understand geographically what goes on and how everything is positioned, because I know you hear about a lot of people that are here, but the bottom line is it's nobody that's not on a block. It's loaded because the entire entertainment world is moved here. And when it comes down to MMA, it's warm year round, so you can train like there's nobody's business. So with that being said, every single person, I'm going to explain why boxing is such a good tool to start first. Because if you're a boxer, you understand geographically how to master a craft. But when you master a different craft that has different principles, and then you try to box, you let all of those things go. And that takes a while. But when you box and then you learn to wrestle, look at Clarissa Shields. She came from boxing and went over there and won in MMA, got a 2-1 record. That's no joke. No one expected her to be able to do anything, but that's the difference when you learn boxing first. You can pick up everything else because you never lose your boxing. So that, my friend, is the answer for that. And for those of you who said hybrid, this is what we do, all jokes aside, my whole entire responsibility for this sport is to offer up something to people who are in the boat that I was in, right? I don't know how many people I'm talking to, but I know that one person that's listening is always one person. So if I got one viewer, that's what I needed, because that's who the message is for. When I designed the programming, I didn't do it just for the fun of it. And I didn't do it just to say, hey, I got this and brag. I don't really care about that. I could not be doing this tomorrow, and I would just have a university online, and I'd have a multitude of coaches, over 300 that have taken the knowledge they've learned from me, and they've built winning programs. If that was it, if it stopped today, that would be more than enough for people to say, well, that's what he gave to the game. I'm fine with that. But writing one book after the next, it was more or less about helping out young Eric, young coach Eric, young master trainer Eric, when he had to figure things out. Even though he had mentorship in a way, you just don't want to keep asking a person questions all the time. Even Michael Jordan said Kobe Bryant would call him up at 12 at night, 3 in the morning, asking him questions. But you can only imagine how many more questions Kobe had that he didn't ask. And that's what I think about when I see all of these coaches. I go into these gyms and I'm paraded by young kids and older men who said, man, I watched your YouTube channel back when you started. You were the pioneer. I was the pioneer. You can go around and see everybody who's bitten everything that I've done, from my name to the things that I teach and the way that I teach. But there is only me. I am a category of one. Period, point blank. When I gave to the game, I gave it everything. And that's the only reason there is a hybrid system of fighting. And the hybrid is understanding that I'm not just giving guys skills, you're learning a process to develop athletes, get their muscle memories, get their mindsets, and run a facility that's designing champion boxers. We got guys at the hottest gym in the world, Boxer, in Miami. That's BOXSR. And when you go there, we got guys there. Special shouts out to my man Andre Durrell and Coach Shota and all of the other coaches that are there that have invested in learning our programs, because those guys work with the David Benavidez's of the world. Roy Jones is down there on a regular giving out that knowledge and wisdom. Ryan Garcia, everybody goes through there. It's the Hollywood of Raleighwood. It's absolutely star-studded. Cameras, TV cameras everywhere, running at all times when it's sparring and they're training. To have our stuff in such prolific places and knowing that the guys know what it's done for their programs, what it's done for their gyms, just adding our programs, you're going to get 100 new members just on that, because people can feel the difference when you got a system in place and guys aren't going around thinking about what they're going to train people with. That's not how you do it. Everything has to have a system and process with it when you take your stuff to the next level, if you're worthy of it. And that's what we focused on doing. We made sure that there was a way that you could do each and everything that you needed to do. And that's why I'm telling any one of you guys who are out here today and you're doing this boxing thing, a training thing, fitness, football, basketball, what you got to think about is what impact are you actually leaving? What is going to come of the work that you've done? How will it be remembered? I don't want any of you guys to end up in the same boat that, and I'm not talking about him because I pray for my brother, Adrian Broner. He's a great person. He's done a lot for people that people don't know about, because all you saw was his flamboyance. And when he had the limelight on him and people were telling him, hey, man, you got to be careful with your money. It goes really fast, because people don't understand purchasing power. When you possess purchasing power, you can either buy into liabilities with your cars, with your clothes, jewelry, people, or you can buy into assets, things that bring capital. So you take your money, buy courses, build websites, infuse people into your business to help the business grow. Do things like that where it's the long game and it just is coming back. Like you can't get rid of it and the government don't tax you for it. That's an asset. You don't get taxed on assets, because assets is hidden money, basically. It's in the form of something different. That's why people say, I'm not liquid. You hear these billionaires, no one has $1 billion in a vault. That's the perception. People think when someone says I'm a billionaire that they have $1 billion in a vault somewhere. No, they don't. They actually have hardly no liquid. Their stuff is wrapped up in real estate and the stock market and things that have no dollar bill attached to it. Therefore, it's called an asset because it's going to produce cash when you need it. You can get loans against whatever you own. If you need 50K and that thing is worth 100, you can go get a loan against it. Beyonce and Jay-Z got a loan against their assets and bought a $220 million home in Cali. But people thought they went to the bank because they said cash, they paid. Yeah, they paid cash. The bank got cash, but it wasn't cash out of their pocket. They didn't go take out $220 million. They got a loan against their assets. So you never see a dollar exchange hands. And so these are the kind of things that I like educating our teachers, our trainers, our owners and entrepreneurs. That's what this is all about. And when you talk about a system of fighting, we do all of that with our system. So our programs aren't like people. You see a lot of people saying, hey, we got boxing courses. We don't have boxing courses. We have academies. And the hybrid system of fighting looks a little like this.
Heard the news, there's a way to become unbeatable in the ring. Ready to find out how? If you're tired of getting hit and struggling to control your rage, it's time to level up. Master these two key aspects of the sweet science, and you'll become what we call a hybrid fighter. How do you master this? I'm going to give you something to do every day the exact same way. First, learn to protect yourself at all times. Cover your blind spots. Master when to use angles. Right now you're using them at the wrong times. You must do it when they don't know it's coming. Think Vasily Lomachenko. He's a hybrid. Next, learn to stay relaxed. This happens when you know how to cover your checkpoints and have 100% confidence that your blind spots are covered or out of range. Want to know when to create angles and master defending your blind spots? Type smoke to become a hybrid version of yourself.
See, hybrid positions you to take care of anything that could come your way. So we also have to make sure that the gyms understand how to promote this thing. Don't just have it. If I walk it into Kill Cliff with Henry Hoof and all of those killers he got over there, I'm going to say, hey, that's a fighting gym. All they do is fight. They don't have customers. If I go in the American Top Team, I don't have to worry about promote it, but you do have to know, people do have to know that you have it. So let's just say Conor McGregor just wants to leave Ireland and he just wants to go train over at American Top Team where Dustin Poirier and my boys and those guys train. You know, Jorge Masvidal. Hey, he just wants to get over there. Bo Nichols. Nothing but killers over there. And I say, okay, we're going to put this hybrid in there. We got to promote it, though, so the fighters know that it's there so they can say, I want to go over there. I need to get into that system because I need to know boxing. This is knowing boxing. You're Archie Moore. You're Sugar Ray. You're all of those killers that had this blueprint. And we just refined it. Every training camp that I would go to and go through, I would refine it. I've been on the phone with 100 hours with J. Marie Moore, talking boxing, getting the footnotes, helping my mind from the most authentic fighter of all time, Archie Moore. I got tens of hours of calls where we just dove deep into the peekaboo system of fighting, not Custody Amados, not knocking it, but who the hell can do that? Get what I'm saying? Like, you got to have a peekaboo where it's not exhausting your body. That's why there's no one having success using it. You got to understand postures. So mastering that and crafting it and giving it to people in a book form so they could actually learn the origin of it. But an entire system of fighting is what we did. I'm going to take my last question and then we're going to bunk it out. James, is that Bledsoe? My sister used to date a guy named Bledsoe when I was a young kid. How can I find out the details about hybrid? Oh, well, the only thing you have to do, you can type the word hybrid if you're on the internet, but make sure you tag us so that we see it and we can send you some information. The automation will send you information and you can go up there and see what it actually looks like. So I don't know if you're a trainer, if you own a gym, or if you fight. If you fight, you know, it's just a buffet. But if you run a gym program, hybrid is going to help you promote it as well. It's just not skills. Because I could give you that package, right? You can have it, and then you can look at it, and you can feed it to your fighters, and y'all will win like hell. But maybe you want to use it to scale and build your gym up, attract more people who might just want to learn boxing in a manner in which you can teach it to them in a fitness kind of way, not the fitness kind of way that you see boxing gyms teach fitness, but the fitness kind of way that actually makes money. Because the fact of the matter is most people are intimidated by boxers, and rightfully so, because they hear all of the reputation about boxing is tough and scary. And if you're out of shape, you don't want to work crazy. And they don't even know, do I have to spar? Like, people don't know. So we got to make sure that you make it and preface it up and put context around what you're actually selling. So there's a process that teaches you how to make it yummy to the general audience, that you can fill your gym, especially in slow seasons like the summer, right? You got to have that. And so that's what you learn in our academy as well. So type the word hybrid if you're in a gym setting and you just want to rise the game up. And it's okay to just think of things in a way that the decisions that you make only elevate where you're going. And if you're in a place where you're trying to focus on elevation, then that hybrid gym system and hybrid system of fighting is a tremendous jewel and a hell of a tool. And if you don't believe me, listen to Coach Bradley. That's why you're going to get knocked out, because you're defending a puncher standing within a 3 feet radius of them. So I'm going to show you exactly what to do and what not to do when facing a hybrid or a throwback puncher. You see, Gervonta Tank Davis isn't just a puncher. He's what we call a hybrid fighter. And a hybrid is the merging of two things or elements to create something unique. Great example, the Tesla. But a hybrid fighter is still unique in its own right, being compiled of a savage offensive prowess and the patience to set every punch up in a calculated manner. Here's the rub. The reason why you can't defend it is because your natural instincts are to defend what you see. See, that's the funny thing about boxing, see? He throws a punch away for you to react by defending it. This is what's called a hat trick. You feint or throw away the first punch and you slap him with the brick hand. This is just a sequence from a hybrid fighter. See, that's why this page is so great, because I have here a complete breakdown of a hybrid system of fighting, just for you to get a grasp of it. To see it, just type hybrid. Check your inbox. To see the extended version of this video breakdown, comment the word knockout. Hybrid. If you want to understand what it's like to have a hybrid system, type hybrid. Save this video to refer back to, and like always, follow for more. Peace, guys, and thanks for taking the time to hang out with us at Master Boxing. See you all soon in the winner's circle, and if you have not signed up in our free broadcast, the winner's circle, over on Facebook and on Instagram, be sure to do so if you like getting game on a daily basis. Until next time, type hybrid, and I see you. Be blessed at Godspeed. Peace.